Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here's your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street.
Welcome in on this Thursday, the 18th of November. Grizzlies. Remember them? They're back in action tonight. Good game with the LA Clippers. Still no Kawhi Leonard, though, which is unfortunate. The guy hasn't been around all year. Yet, this team is 9-5. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They did lose to the Grizz in L.A. very early in the year. And the Grizz really need a nice W, so that'll be fun. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. The football Tigers will leave this morning or this afternoon to Houston to take on this Cougars team. So, Jay Morgan, if I were to say to you, this is a tough question. Since the Nickel State game, that's game 1, back in the first weekend of September, how many players do you think Memphis has lost to injury this year? These players have played in at least one game this year. From the original day roster to now, how many players lost to injury?
16.
Try again.
22.
Try again.
Am I too high or too low?
You're too low.
28.
Try again.
36.
Try again.
48.
40.
Wow.
40! Now,
Two full rosters.
I'm really not trying to make excuses for Ryan Silverfield. I'm not. That's a fact. 40 guys. I think, you got 85 scholarship players. Now, these might not all be scholarship players, right? But you got 85 scholarship players. Let's just say that Memphis has 25 walk-ons. Because didn't we determine earlier in the year that's about the average walk-ons is 25, which I thought was high, but that's about right. So, basically, we're talking, we'll say 110 players then. 110 players. Out of 110, 40 are gone. My gosh. And you've got guys playing hurt. Seth Hennigan's playing hurt. Calvin Austin's playing hurt. 2 offensive tackles are playing hurt. And you wonder why you can't run the football. And your best running back has been hurt. He's done nothing really. The first 3 or 4 games of the year, Brandon Thomas was 3rd in the country in yards gained. And since that time, since the second fumble game, he got hit, and he's truly not been the same guy. And so it has been difficult. And this Houston team, I got to tell you about one guy on this Houston team that keep your eyes on him because he's really a great story. His name is Marcus Jones. Because I don't think Houston and SMU are really that much different. Now, Memphis had some healthy guys or healthier guys when they played SMU, and that may have been, other than the Mississippi State win, that was probably the most impressive overall game. They did win it, and they won it. They were pretty. I mean, the score wasn't as close as the game really was. Memphis could have won that game by 3 touchdowns, honestly. But this kid may be the separator between Houston and SMU. So Marcus Jones is a cornerback. He has 3 interceptions this year, including 1 returned for a touchdown. He is their punt returner. He is their kick returner. He has returned 2 punts for touchdowns. He has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. On top of that, every once in a while, they'll put him on the offensive side of the ball. He's caught 10 catches for 1 touchdown. So he's got an interception return, a pass reception, a touchdown. So that's 2 touchdowns. And then 4 on kickoff or punt returns. Tell me the last time, Jay Morgan, you've ever seen a cornerback have 6 touchdowns in a year.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Never. So he is really going to be fun, I think, to watch. Houston, the Memphis coaching staff said this was really Mac McIntyre, and I might have already said this, but he said before the year began, he thought Cincinnati might have as close to as many athletes as Houston. He was saying Houston had the most athletes. He thought that Cincinnati had the better offensive line.
A lot of praise for Houston.
It was, and this was earlier in the year. So they really do. They don't execute quite as well probably as Cincinnati either, but they've really got the athletes. So it will be a tough test for the U of M.
Houston's favored by 9, too. That's a lot of points. And East Carolina played them close in Houston. I feel like 9's a lot of points to be favored by.
Well, as Eli and Greg were just pointing out, the thing about Houston is they really haven't beaten anybody other than SMU. The game with ECU came down to the wire. They could have lost to East Carolina. And then all the other W's really are against bad teams. So this... at least we hope. It just depends on who can play for Memphis to make this a close game. I think if Memphis were really healthy, this would be a great game. I think the line would be maybe 2 for home field advantage personally, but it isn't. And so that line, so you say it's up to 9 because that line started at 10.5. I've seen it at 8.5. I haven't seen it at 9. That might have just changed.
I think it did because I saw it at 8.5 when I looked at it about an hour and a half ago. So it's already moving up and down, like you said.
Well, We'll have to just hope that there's enough healthy guys to make it a competitive game. And then, if this thing were to turn south in a hurry, it might behoove Ryan to just get those freshmen in there, get them a little bit more experience, and then save everybody to try to beat Tulane so you can get to go to a bowl game. Because in the end, that's really all you're playing for now, right? I think it would be great to win on national TV.
About to say.
On a Friday night, you beat Houston with an upset, and Seth Hennigan goes crazy and throws 5 touchdowns.
To go to a bowl.
And get bowl eligibility.
How can you imagine?
And then you could actually, so if you do that, that's 6, and then you beat Tulane, that's 7. You win your bowl game, it's 8 wins.
How about that?
I like that scenario. But I just don't know if they'll be healthy enough to do it. That will be great. All right, this is a little off topic. We'll get back to the Grizzlies, and I know you got some NBA stuff.
Oh, I love League Pass.
But I got to ask you, when we think of the greatest athlete that's old of all time, who do you think of?
Michael Jordan? I don't know.
Michael Jordan?
Bruce Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner. Great athlete.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as an old person, old guy. Like everybody's talking about the greatest old athlete is Tom Brady.
Oh, still playing. I see
still
what you mean.
Playing.
Got you. Roger Federer, Tom Brady, LeBron James, those guys.
Yes, right. That is in there. I think of Gordie Howe because Gordie Howe played hockey with contact into his 50s. But I got a new entry that I think you really have to think about. And you don't think of athletes when you think of this sport. But it's golf, and it's Bernhard Langer. Bernhard Langer just won a tournament a few weeks ago. He was 64 years old and 1 month. That is the oldest on the Champions Tour, the old senior tour. That's what it is, senior tour. You got to be 50 to play in it. He's the oldest ever to win a tournament at the age of 64 plus. So this is, I believe, his 15th season on this tour. And he's got more wins, I think, than anybody on that tour ever.
He has 11 major championship wins since he joined the senior tour.
11. How many wins? 44, something like that?
Let me look.
It's 40. It's in the 40s. It's crazy. I think it's the most wins of anybody on that tour. The only guy that ever came close for longevity on that tour was Hale Irwin. And Hale Irwin played, I think, 10, 12 years. But he never won a tournament in this age. Not just that, but Bernhard Langer won the Charles Schwab Cup. That's the points race for the best of the year. And he did that at 64, where nobody had ever won a tournament, let alone the points championship at that age.
He dominates this tour. 42 total wins since he joined the Champions
42.
Tour.
I knew it was in the 40s.
Unbelievable. He dominates. And the only guy that even competes with him that I've seen is Miguel Angel Jimenez. They go back and forth a little bit, but Bernard Langer.
Oh, but Angel, he's only been on the tour 2 or 3 years.
Right, he's much younger.
He's a young guy.
Yeah, for sure.
No, what he is doing has never occurred before. And I'll give you some other information. The last time he played at Augusta, he was 63. He made the cut. He made the cut when he was 62. He made the cut when he was 61. So guys that are in their 20s that are phenoms don't make the cut. Bernard Langer makes the cut. It's incredible.
2 Master Championships, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, 2 green jackets, but he was young then. I mean,
Right.
but just to make the cut now.
No, he's unbelievable.
And
Absolutely.
you know how, have you ever been to Augusta National?
Never been.
Well, you can, with high-def TV and all the angles they got now and those new drone shots and everything, you get a better sense of elevation change. But I've been there several times, and I like going like on Tuesday and Wednesday because those practice runs are really funny. Everybody's loose. They interact with the galleries, and you can really walk it a lot better. And honestly, where's the best place to watch a tournament? It's on TV. You see everything. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'd rather watch Augusta on a big screen TV, but I like going to the practice rounds because I like to walk. It's but it is a hard walk. And can you imagine doing that 4 days in a row at the age of 63 and still making the cut and playing the distance that he has to play? That may be for these younger guys nothing, but it is plenty for an old guy. I think we got to put down Bernard Langer as he's got to be a candidate for the greatest old-time athlete that still competes.
The only negative side, if we're doing pros and cons, he uses a long putter, right? He uses that long putter where you got your hand up.
He's not anchoring it anymore.
Oh, is he not?
You can't.
I think on the Champions Tour you can. I could be wrong, though. Don't quote me on that.
I'm going to say this. I've noticed a lot of these guys. Adam Scott, you are one of them. They're not supposed to anchor. I think they're anchoring.
Cheating a little bit.
Cheating a little bit on that. It's amazing nobody turns them in on that. But they really are not. All right. Before we get to your NBA stuff, the sure seems like Mel Tucker's going to stay at Michigan State, right? They're offering him $95 million for 10 years. To the best of my mathematical abilities, that would come, Jay Morgan, to $9.5 million per year. It's not a bad place to live, East Lansing.
It's not. Tom Izzo's made a good living there. Took it for a long time.
$9.5 million a year. That's incredible. I don't know what the buyout is, but, some of this thing. I think this year I read, they call it dead money. Colleges are paying this year alone for people not to coach $53 million.
It's remarkable to me the amount of money that college programs pay, and it's particularly the boosters, because it's coming out of their pockets, right? Will pay to have guys not coach their school.
$9.5 million for Tucker to stay. That is incredible. But now we know there are openings right at LSU. There are openings at USC. There's an opening in Washington. There's an opening in Blacksburg, Virginia Tech.
Might be an opening in Miami. There is an opening at FIU in Miami.
That's right. I don't know if everybody's jumping on that. I'm not going to put that in the carousel. But let's just say people start leaving, like Penn State could be open, right? Because if James Franklin jumps to USC like everybody is saying, now Penn State is open. Hold on, let's go another step further. What if Lincoln Riley, who's when asked about it, his denial sure wasn't heartfelt, in my opinion. Did you see his thing?
No, I don't. What'd he say?
I'm trying to remember. I actually wrote it down for yesterday's show. We never got to it, but
very vague, I would imagine.
So Jimbo Fisher, in his denial, he said, I'd have to be the dumbest human being with my recruiting class to leave. That would be so dumb, I don't know why anybody would hire me. That's what his quote was.
That's a strong
when
statement.
When he said, I'm not leaving, I'm staying at A&M. There's another guy making $9.5 million or $9 million a year. The Lincoln Riley denial was like pretty blasé. Like I've told you I'm an Oklahoma guy. You know, it was not really heartfelt in my opinion. I can't remember the exact wording or the sentiment on it, but it led me to believe. And we're going to talk with Ron Higgins a little bit later about this. It led me to believe that explanation, the way he said it, makes me think he's leaving.
$100 million reportedly the offer, $12 million a year.
Yeah,
I mean,
yikes.
Would you leave? I might leave for that money.
I would leave for that. Well, we'll see what they offer in Norman. But you know who could end up being the head coach at Oklahoma if that were the case?
Who's that?
Wouldn't you call on a guy who's really been pretty successful everywhere he's been, although he hasn't been to places for a long period of time, but he's a pretty good offensive coach?
Hugh Freeze.
No.
I wanted you to go there.
No. Hugh Freeze will end up somewhere.
Right.
He could end up, by the way, at Blacksburg. He's already in that neck of the woods at Liberty in Virginia. No. This is a guy, and it directly affects this state, who was a star at Oklahoma. It would be come home and save your mama. Save your alma mater. Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel could be the guy to go to Oklahoma. If
you think from Tennessee?
Well, he was a star quarterback at Oklahoma.
That would be two coaches then, Lane Kiffin and Josh Heupel, to leave after 1 year at the University of Tennessee.
These would be totally different circumstances,
right?
Although Kiffin said it was his dream job, but this guy was a star player at Oklahoma. And when Mama calls, you know, that's one circumstance I could actually kind of understand, if indeed that were the case. Now, they may want somebody more proven. They may want a bigger name. I don't know.
They may want Hugh Freeze.
I don't think so. I'll be shocked if USC is the guy. And you know, that makes the position with Dan Mullen in Florida very precarious, because it sure seems like he's trying to get fired, doesn't it?
It kind of does. But maybe not, though. That's just that. I've heard from Mississippi State sources, and I think a lot of Starkville people would tell you this, that's kind of just the way he is. He just has no patience for anything.
He gave up 52 points to Samford, for goodness sakes.
Great program, though. Played great ball in that league.
Please.
Duck Hodges went to Samford.
Who?
Duck Hodges, the former emergency quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Household name. Household.
Duck. I mean,
how did I not know that one? Crazy. This is just going to be so much fun to watch, because crazy, crazy, crazy stuff is going to happen for sure. All right. We mentioned Clips in town. They're actually favored by 1. They're 9-5. Paul George, third in the NBA in scoring, 27 points a game. Ja's not much behind him, 7th, just under 26 points per game. So the Grizz did win that first matchup, and Ja had 28. The Grizz, against 500 teams or better, not bad. They're 4-3. So they're over 500. But the Clips are hot. They've won 8 of their last 10. The Grizz are 500. They've had some really defensive woes. The good news for the Clips, for the Grizz, I should say, are the Clips still are without star Kawhi Leonard. I don't know when he's coming back, but they won't be the same without him. That's for sure.
But as we've noticed trend-wise, you know, the Grizzlies won their last game, which doesn't bode well for this one.
No, this will be a stinker. They'll give up in the first quarter or at the end of the first quarter. That's the way this thing is.
But then they'll look like the best team in the league the next game, though. You know, it just goes back and forth like that.
That's exactly right. All right, well, you've got some obscure stuff on the NBA here?
Well, I just got some stats from last night and just the biggest performers that I saw. And first of all, I have to mention – the Miami Heat last night, they wore what I'm calling their ransom note jerseys. Have you seen these jerseys?
No.
So they take the MIAMI from all, you know, they've had a bunch of different, Nike's made all these different jerseys over the last few years. So they take a letter from each of the different styles of jerseys they have.
Well, that and
numbers too, both of them.
Well, so in philosophy, that sounds kind of cool. I don't know how it works.
It looks good, but it looks like a ransom note. And so I call him the ransom note jersey. That's what they wore last night. And Jimmy Butler scored 30, had a triple-double, 31, 10, and 10 last night in the ransom note jersey. So they must be working.
He wants to keep that jersey going.
Apparently so. But they beat the Pelicans, who have only won 2 games. So,
they beat the Grizzlies.
That's true. But the Pelicans are playing good ball for a 2-win team. And the only other guy I've got who plays for the Wizards. I forgot the name of the Washington team for a minute. The Wizards played the Hornets last night. The Hornets beat them. LaMelo Ball is excellent. But this guy, Daniel Gafford, who scored 15 against the Grizzlies, he started 9 of 9 last night. He had 20 points and 9 rebounds. He played unbelievable. He played for the Bulls the last few years, didn't get a lot of playing time. This guy's really, really good. I watched that whole game last night. He's excellent.
What did he end up? He was 9 of 9 to begin with?
Yeah, he finished 9 of 12.
Oh, he missed his last
But he had 16 in the first half. Like I said, 9 rebounds.
That's pretty good.
He played a great game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Grizz and Clips at FedEx Forum. Did I see, is that an 8 o'clock game tonight?
I think it's a little bit later. When I was going through it's 8 o'clock Eastern, so 7 o'clock
Oh,
Central.
so it is 7. Okay, so they had the Eastern time in that thing. Okay, they don't usually. So that'll be fun to watch. We're sitting here in the Family Leisure Studios just in time for the holidays. You know, they come up with a great sale. This one is the Ultimate Game Room Sale. So all these great things like pool tables and shuffleboard and air hockey, they are on with a special sale that you are going to love. I, in particular, like the air hockey, so go crazy for that. Also, the big theater seating, comfortable chairs that are just perfect to watch the big game or to watch a movie. And you got so many choices now between Netflix and Hulu and Prime and HBO and HBO Max. I mean, you can't beat it. And they got special prices on all of that. Plus, there's free delivery on all the in-stock items. That's only while this Ultimate Game Room sale is going on at Family Leisure. And this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at Conway. And a reminder, it's time to tune up for the winter for a lot of different reasons. One, your energy system will last longer. 2, it'll be more efficient, so your MLGW bill won't be so high. But the other is during the winter. And I always say get one in spring for air conditioning and get one in winter for heating. The heating one is the most important because they're going to do the safety inspection system with their state-of-the-art camera. It goes into the units that you have and all the conduits and checks for leaks to make sure everything's okay. And then they do a carbon monoxide test, and they do all of this for all of $69. What a deal. All you got to do is make the call, 384-3511. That's Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We talk NFL in just a moment with our friend and former Tiger and former NFL star, Russell Copeland. He is right around the corner.
This is Brett Norsworthy, and I want to thank you for listening through all these years and want you to continue listening to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and to me with Gabe Kuhn on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 560 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Chevy. Lots of new Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Check out the savings at sunrisememphis.com. And don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. And remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevy's cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Testing? Hey, can you hear me? You can? Well, if you enjoy hunting or shooting, how important is your hearing? If your kids hunt and shoot, how can you protect their hearing? Well, the guys at Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville can get you set up with a silencer for your rifle, handgun, even your shotgun. I promise they'll get you on your way to a much more enjoyable shooting experience. They have more silencers in stock than you'll find anywhere, and so much more, all in one stop. Save your hearing while you still can. Tactical Guns and Gear, Highway 72 in Collierville. Can you hear me now?
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Big football weekend. NFL, which of course we'll have games here, lots of college football, and the Vandy Ole Miss game right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM. I've been telling you about Stant Perfect Fit pants and shirts now for a long time. Shirts had started, and that was like pretty unique. 3 measurements, perfect fitting shirt for really a reasonable price within now 2 weeks. It used to be about a week, but they got so popular. And now they've added the pants. That's 2 measurements. And you know how sometimes pants will fit in the waist, but not necessarily in the tush. Sometimes in the tush, not necessarily in the legs, by the thighs behind where it gets baggy. You do this, everything fits perfectly. It's amazing. 2 measurements. And this stuff's great. The fabrics are incredible. In fact, you have 80 different fabrics that you can choose from. You'll love it. And by the way, the only place to get the Stant custom fit system, which is like a hot thing all across the country, the only place in Memphis you can get it is James Davis Men's Store. It's been the men's store for a long, long time. Please go by, see Rob Joyner, see all the guys. You'll love what you see there. All the winter and fall fashions are in. The men's store of Memphis, the only one with Stant, that is James Davis. Also, before we get to Russell, I do want to let you know, because this Matt Eflin is a real Tiger fan. He loves Russell Copeland, and Eflin Insurance, a proud sponsor of us and a proud sponsor of a lot of different Tiger stuff. And his professionals do it a little different way. They sit you down, they get to know you, and then match your needs, whether it's auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance. They match your needs with your budget and come up with the perfect fit that is the right one to protect you and your family. Same thing with commercial insurance, too. Virtually unlimited access to programs to protect, in particular, small and mid-sized businesses. All you got to do is call Grant, Andrew, Heath, or Matt himself, 901-386. And this is how much they love the Tigers. They put 477 in as their last 4 digits because it spells out GER. 901-386-GER. Call the Eflin Insurance Company to take care of you and your family. Do it today. Russell Copeland now does join us. We've got a fun weekend coming up. I guess the biggest game this weekend, Russell, would be Dallas at Kansas City. That is clearly the best matchup. I would have to say, after seeing Kansas City the last few weeks, even with the good game against Vegas, I'm beginning to think the Cowboys may be the best team in the entire NFC. What do you think?
Well, the Cowboys are playing very well right now. I'm going to put them right behind the Packers, Dave. The Packers 8-2, but the Cowboys are right there. I think this is going to be a really big game for both teams. When you look at it from this point on, it's playoff implications. Every game is going to be played. It's going to be in the stretch run. But when you look at the Cowboys, I think they have all the ingredients to go deep in the playoffs. They have to get their offensive line, but they have the best 1-2 combination in football as far as the running game. Their defense under Dan Quinn is playing outstanding. They're playing the type of football that Dallas was not playing in the past. They're winning games that they usually do not win. But when you look at the Chiefs, I said to myself, what I see on the field, my heart tells me that the Chiefs will find a way to turn around. And I think the Chiefs will find a way to turn around. But this is going to be a big test for the Kansas City Chiefs now to see if they can make that stretch run. I think the Kansas City Chiefs win this football game against the Dallas Cowboys. I think it's a bigger game for the Chiefs than it is for the Cowboys.
Ooh. All right. So you're saying you've rated in the NFC Green Bay just ahead of Dallas. So that would be one Super Bowl team if we were picking them today. Who's your AFC rep?
Well, not going to the Super Bowl. I've already made my Super Bowl picks, but I'm saying as of now, yes.
No.
Green Bay Packers.
Here's what I'm saying to you. I know we all made picks. My picks for the Super Bowl are the Rams and the Bills. And I got grave doubts right now. So if I were saying to you, we're halfway through, Russell, you get to repick your Super Bowl teams. Who would they be?
Well, I'm not going to repick them, but as of right now, the teams that are winning would be the Packers. I would have to say the Packers right now as the way they are playing. And in the AFC, I'm still going to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
I think they're the best team in the AFC.
I still think they are too, but they seem to be an up and down team. They've lost 3 games already.
Absolutely, but when you look at the AFC has pretty much been topsy-turvy the whole entire year. Everyone is beating up themselves, but this is how you determine good teams from mediocre teams and teams that can win here and there. I think good teams such as Buffalo, I think good teams such as Baltimore, I think teams such as Kansas City, they will find a way to right the ship. And toward when you look at the end of November and December going into the playoffs, they will have everything in place ready to make a playoff run.
All right. Tonight we've got on Sports 56, 98.5 FM. We've got the Thursday night football game, which is the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. New England is going there, and everybody is now saying, hey, or I shouldn't say everybody. I read this interesting story, and the premise is that clearly Tom Brady was the winner of Brady versus Belichick last year. But in the long run, their move to get Mac Jones, because he looks like Brady coming up, that Mac Jones is the real deal, and that in the end, Belichick is going to look like the genius here. I don't know if that'll be the case, but is Mac Jones really that good, or are we jumping the gun here?
I think Mac Jones is definitely that good, and I said it coming out when all of the quarterbacks were taken. I said the quarterback that went to a system, went to a team that he could have better success would be Mac Jones. And if you look at how he's playing, that system fits him because it's the same type of system as far as an organization as what he came from in Alabama. You look at the receivers that he has had to throw the football to. You look at how Nick Saban runs a football program. It is identical to where Bill Belichick runs. They're from the same tree. You look at Nick Saban, he was on the staff when he was with the Cleveland Browns. So for Mac Jones, he simply just traded homes on the same block. It is the same formula, and he knows how to run the system that's there. He's going to get more comfortable. I like that. But as far as the long run, you have to replace Tom Brady. Will he have the same career as Tom Brady? Who knows? But you have to put a quarterback that's in place that's going to be a franchise quarterback, and I think they hit a home run with Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, 5 years from now, an All-Pro?
Absolutely. He'll be an All-Pro next year.
Wow. Okay. If you were picking an MVP halfway through this season, I'll give you all these quarterbacks, okay? I'll give you Brady, Murray, Dak, Lamar Jackson, although he slipped the last few weeks, Josh Allen from your Bills, Aaron Rodgers. I'll even throw in a wide receiver, Cooper Kupp from the Rams, who's having an outstanding year.
Right. Well, when I looked at it, my MVP is on the shelf now, and it was going to be Derrick Henry. I think when you look at all these quarterbacks, they have had some games. You know, they've had some games that they've been up and down. You look at Dak Prescott, he was able to come back after a dismal performance a couple of weeks ago against Denver. But I think when you look at it, I would go with Tom Brady. And people say, what do you mean going with Tom Brady? You look at his age. You look at him being 44 years old. You look at how he has played down the stretch. You look at he has more yardage than anyone. He is playing consistent football. I think the rest of the quarterbacks are right there together. When you look at Kyler Murray, can't put him right there at the top because he's missed a couple of games. Can't put Aaron Rodgers in there because he missed a game here and there. All of these other quarterbacks are right there, but I think Tom Brady, as of now, would be my MVP.
I agree with you on Derrick Henry. Had he been able to finish the year, I think he would have been the MVP. But I will use Lee Corso's "not so fast, my friend" on Tom Brady. Tom Brady looked old the last 2 weeks. He's throwing picks. Maybe finally Father Time is catching up. I don't think that the Tampa Bay Bucks or Brady are going to see the third round of the NFL playoffs. I think he'll be supplanted.
I tell you what, Dave. You look at last year, they had this lull toward the middle of the year. Everyone said Tom Brady does not have it. He can't get it done. And they made that stretch run. Everyone is dealing with injuries right now. But before the last performance, Tom Brady was playing very consistent. As far as completion ratings was up there near 70%. As far as touchdowns, he was right there near the top. And as far as yardage, he was leading the NFL. At 44 years old, that says a lot about a guy that's won as many Super Bowls as he has won and just won a Super Bowl and coming back. He has been consistent, and he will be ready to play toward the end of the year. Everyone else, I'm not so sure. You look at Kyler Murray, he's not playing the same because he's hurt. So you just have to see how everything plays out. But I'm going to stick with Tom Brady. How can you bet against Tom Terrific Brady?
I'm gonna go the other way with Kyler Murray, the guy who is banged up, because I think he'll get healthy. And when he's healthy, the Cardinals win. Heck, they put up 287 points. Their differential's almost plus 100. If he's healthy, you watch, my friend. He'll be the NFL's MVP. In the meantime, before I let you go, we always love chatting Tigers, and I know you were in with me with the coaches' meetings yesterday. What do you think is going to happen at TDECU, the longest acronym stadium in America? TDECU Stadium. What happens late Friday night at 8 o'clock Central?
Well, Dave, to be honest, it's going to be tough sledding going against this football team for Houston. Have a lot of athletes on both sides of the football. They're probably the most complete team that the Tigers have played for offensively, defensively, and special teams. Offensively, in order for the Tigers to win, they have to get something off the ground, and they're going to have to protect Seth Hennigan. Defensively, they have to continue to play aggressive. They're going to have to create some turnovers. I think it'll be a close game. It's going to be really tough. It's just going to come down to who can not turn the football over and who can have the best running game. That's who will win the game. I think it'll be close, though. I think the Tigers will come out and they will compete.
And then at the beginning of the show, I talked a little bit about their super player. I mean, super Marcus Jones. And whatever happens, stay away from Marcus Jones. That means don't throw at him, don't kick to him, don't punt to him. I mean, he's pretty special, don't you think?
Absolutely. He reminds me of a Devin Hester type of player, especially in the kickoff return and punt return game. But he plays pretty good at defensive back. So balls going across the middle, anywhere close, you got to make sure you make that catch. Tip balls. He not only can get an interception, but he's dangerous to return it back. Anytime he has his hands on the ball, he can make a quick six very quickly.
There's our former Tiger and our former Bill and Eagle. That would be Russell Copeland on a myriad of topics. Looking forward to seeing you on the airplane this morning. And then again, we shall chat next week.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Russell Copeland. He is brought to you in part by the good folks at Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. You know all about Ken by now. You know, if you're building that dream home, looking for land for that dream home, maybe not sure what to do with that land for a dream home, I'm promising you, Ken Garland can help you on all those fronts. He can also help you if you love your home but want the modern amenities. He can do renovation. I call renovation with innovation. He'll give you that new video room. He'll pipe in the sound with those in-the-wall speakers. He'll give you the brand-new granite countertops. He'll give you the island in the kitchen. He'll give you the California closets. He'll give you a new bathroom that might have one of those saunas in there. I really want a steam room for my sauna. I've always wanted one of those for my shower. It's cool the way I've seen those things done. He can do all that. Renovation with innovation. He's perfect for all these things. All you got to do is call 751-1632. First, go check out my stuff because you'll see for 50 years, he and his dad, 2 generations have built these great palaces all around the Metroplex. I promise you. So go to KenGarland.com, then make that call. 751-1632. He's fun to chat with. He sees the details. He sees the big picture. He's really terrific. He is Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We'll pause for just a second. When we come back, SEC football and maybe a little discussion on coaching carousel and everything else. That comes your way in a second with Ron Higgins from the LSU website. Back in just a minute. This is Wolo and Friends.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Black Friday sales event is going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Take your pick, 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x2 or 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, your choice. $549 a month, and they're not leases, you own them. 2021 Chrysler 300 Touring, $31,945 or $469 a month. And hit the road hard in 2021 Dodge Charger, $32,565 or $478 a month. Plus, top dollar for your trade at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So if you're looking for our best deal, drive past the rest and come to the best during the Black Friday sales event. Shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 3.99 APR, $3,500 down payment. Must finance through Chrysler Cherokee MC 814-357, MSRP 39.9, Wrangler MW 791-095, MSRP 39.045, Charger XST MH 66088.7, MSRP 34.065. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Tiger Nation, your 11th ranked men's basketball team hosts Western Kentucky Friday at 7 o'clock at FedEx Forum. For tickets, visit GoTigersGoTix.com or call 901-678-2331. Also, make sure to take advantage of the 3-game back starting at $45. Pick any 3 men's basketball games on the schedule for this unbelievable ticket price. That's this Friday, November 19th at 7 o'clock against Western Kentucky.
If you were to look up comfort food in the dictionary, you should find a picture of the menu from Sunrise on Jefferson. Whether it's for lunch or dinner, there's simply nothing like the food at Sunrise. Breakfast is served all day, every day, with house-made biscuit sandwiches like the usual, with bacon, egg, and cheddar, or the Rooster, with a fried chicken breast, house-made pickles, and Tabasco honey. At lunch, tuck into a downtown burger with bacon and cheddar, or a kickin' chicken salad. I think the name speaks for itself. If you're craving great food served fresh and fast, you're looking for Sunrise.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Close. But no, this is Wolo and Friends. And it is, of course, title sponsored by Homer Skelton, Hyundai, and Genesis in Olive Branch. We go to Baton Rouge momentarily. Our friend Ron Higgins standing by. He's brought to you in part by Edwin Watts, and I know my friend Ron Higgins knows all about Edwin Watts Golf because he used to go through drivers like crazy. In fact, he had a pair of drivers, and like if one was nice to him, he'd keep it in his bag for a while. If the other, if it wasn't, boom, it would either be broken or thrown into the lake. So he is very well aware of all of the incredible brands that they have at Edwin Watts. Truly, it is the golf store of Memphis. If you ask anybody, where would you go to get some? They're going to say Edwin Watts. I always have to carve out an extra 15 minutes when I go to Edwin Watts because I'm going to know somebody in there, and I'm going to want a kibitz. All the latest in technology, all the latest from every brand name. You want new GPS? They got that. You want new performance shoes? They've got the latest in shoes and in apparel. It's the place to go. So go see Jay Hasselman or all that crew. They're honestly, for everybody knows that's where you're going to go, but they don't act like that. They are there to talk with you about golf and direct you in the right way. Edwin Watts Golf with the 90-day guarantee. That is right there at Poplar and I-240. So to Baton Rouge we go. Ron Higgins joins us now. There was an interesting dialogue from 2 different candidates for the LSU job this week. Jimbo Fisher said, I'd be the dumbest human being on earth with my recruiting class coming in at A&M to ever want to leave. In fact, I'd be so dumb, somebody be dumb to hire me. And then there was Lincoln Riley, who, gave one of those usual non-denial denials. Is Lincoln Riley coming to Baton Rouge, Ron?
I think he's probably their leading guy right now. They're willing to pay him $12 million a year. So, $12 million a year can go a long way in Baton Rouge.
$12 million a year. That is absurd.
I know it's absurd, but when you look at a major college football program, how much money it brings in, and it's an investment. You want your investment to be the best it can be, so you go get a guy that can. What you're looking for is probably a guy who's a really good offensive mind, who's good with quarterbacks and good age demographic, 38. has got to the playoff, and they like him. Now, will they get him? I don't know, but he's their guy of the moment. So we'll see. I believe Jimbo finally. I do believe. I don't think Jimbo's going to come here, which is fine.
You do not believe that, right?
No, I don't believe he's coming. No, I don't believe he's coming here. And honestly, I really don't. I wouldn't want Jimbo. I think he's a little bit past his window of being really, really good. His offenses aren't very progressive. His defense is great. But I'd want somebody like a Lincoln Riley. Yeah, sure, I'd take that. Yeah, I mean, if I'm LSU, that's kind of what I'd go after, and I think that's the apple of their eye right now with 2 weeks to go in the season.
I think Oklahoma could match that offer, don't you?
I don't know. I know A&M. I know A&M can if they offered Jimbo. I know A&M could. A&M's got more money than anybody in the SEC. A&M brings in more donations from alums than anybody in the SEC easily. So I know A&M can match it. Now, Oklahoma, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, they're about to get SEC money, but it's not there quite yet. $12 million bucks, though. You would think, okay, we could probably get somebody pretty darn good from our family tree for a lot less money than $12 million. So let's just say Lincoln Riley takes that job. And by the way, he denied he was leaving. Kind of made me think I do believe he's going to be in Baton Rouge. I don't know that for a fact, but that's my gut feel. So if that's the case, where does Oklahoma go, Ron Higgins?
Well, I really don't know. That's you know what? That's their problem.
No, I get that, but let me just speculate because I've done this a little earlier. Wouldn't you want somebody from the family to come rescue you, a younger guy who, although his track record is not at long stays, it is very successful. It's those young offensive minds that you're talking about. Wouldn't you think about Josh Heupel?
Sure, I would. Yeah, I definitely would.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but, it's always this is always a crazy time of year because of the chain reaction. What happens when you hire somebody? The chain reaction that goes on. I mean, even at Virginia Tech,
right?
What happened there? I mean, automatically they're saying, let's get Shane Beamer. And Shane's like, I don't know if I'm not so sure about that. So it's fascinating the cause and effect of football hirings. Yeah, it really is.
Well, yeah, if we do that, and it's kind of fun. I've already done this little exercise earlier, but I hope this doesn't bore folks. But we know LSU, USC, Washington, and Virginia Tech are all open at this point.
Yeah.
And what could happen is if USC fills that with Penn State. Okay, now Penn State is open. That's pretty good. Oklahoma could be open, or Tennessee, if Josh Heupel were to take that job at Oklahoma. I mean, there's all kinds of different ramifications. I think you're right about Shane Beamer. I don't think he wants to go and have to live up to his dad's shadow. Do you? So I think he stays where he is and tries to build his own legacy there. What about Dan Mullen? What's going to happen at Florida? And if Florida's going to make a move, look at all these possible big-name schools that are going to be competing for that young, up-and-coming hotshot coach. Wow. I mean, I'd love to be a young, up-and-coming hotshot coach because you couldn't find a better marketplace than right now.
Oh, yeah, you would. I mean, I'd have a hard time believing Florida keeps Dan Mullen at this point. I mean, they're just awful. I mean, and they shouldn't be awful. They're just awful.
Has he quit on that team?
I don't know if he's quit on the team or the team has quit on him, one of the two. I mean, I don't think he's. Well, I mean, he hasn't been fired yet, so he hasn't really checked out like Orgeron has. I mean, Orgeron's totally checked out. But I mean, we watch Florida. They look like they don't want to be there. I mean, they just don't. And I would imagine that be. I mean, what's fascinating is where will Lane Kiffin end up at? That's what's fascinating because, okay, say Florida and Miami are open. he's going to go one of those places.
Well, Miami is going to be open, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to go one of those places, honestly. He's going to go somewhere where he feels like he has a chance to win a national championship. And honestly, if you're in the state of Florida, you should. I mean, with the football talent they have that state, yeah, absolutely should. And that's what's the crazy thing about Florida the past few years, the whole state, Florida State, Miami, and Florida. How come you can't win? What's wrong with you? You're the best high school football state in America. What is wrong with you? You just keep hiring coaches. I guess it's just they struggle to fit. They just struggle. And so right now, the way I look at it, I mean, I think Lane's going somewhere. I mean, I really do. I mean, I think he wants to. Again, every coach wants to go somewhere where he feels like he can win a national championship. He has a chance to win a national championship. That's the bottom line for most coaches.
I kind of thought Lane might stick around, and maybe I'm reading through too many tea leaves. But when coaches sort of criticize their fans for not being loud enough, like in the A&M game where he said those guys were able to use audible counts, not silent counts, our fans got to cheer harder. I thought, wow, most of the time coaches wouldn't do that unless they don't care about keeping that job.
Yeah, maybe that could be. I just think there's too many openings that are attractive for him to fit him pretty well. I mean, and I think the Florida job and the Miami job would fit him really well because he's coaching Florida. They have a lot of offensive athletes in Florida. I think that one of those two places would be a good landing spot for him.
Well,
of course,
he was already at Florida Atlantic, which is basically, well, it's not a Miami suburb. It's a little further than that, but it's in the neighborhood.
For years I thought Florida Atlantic was an airline. I really didn't realize.
Have you ever been on their campus? It's in Boca. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I've been on their campus. I mean, I may have way back when I may have even done a World Basketball League playoff game somewhere around there. Honest to God, with the Rockers.
Oh my goodness!
It was down there. In my previous life, way back when of minor league basketball. But yeah, I mean, I think that area is rich with talent. I think it kind of fits him. And then again, so he leaves. There's that cause and effect. Who was Ole Miss kid? It's crazy. I mean, it's the game within a game. It's the season after the season before the bowl season.
Who do you think gets the Virginia Tech job? We've just both agreed it won't be Beamer. Do you think it would be Hugh Freeze?
I think he'll be a candidate. I really do. I mean, some of these schools have got to put. I mean, they've got to put Hugh's baggage behind him sooner or later. I mean, he's paid his penance. Man. I mean, how much do you want to hold against him? I mean, at this point,
I will say this: if it indeed does happen, where he replaced Justin Fuente, that would be really irony because I can promise you, Justin Fuente had nothing to do with Hugh Freeze. He had no respect for him, so that would be really an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be crazy, but this is college football. You go get who you can win with. And
I guess so.
They can win. They can win with you. You can win anywhere, honestly.
They could win with you. There's no question in my mind. Hugh knows how to coach. I don't care if it's girls basketball or if it is football. The dude flat out knows how to coach. I wish you would do away with this week with all these week games where they do bye games right toward the end of the year. It just makes no sense to me.
Play one of those catch your breath games before you play your rival, especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
It's mostly a catch your breath game because you got Alabama, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Florida State. You're going to have a lot of LSU, A&M. You got all your rival games the last weekend. So I guess it's your catch your breath game.
I guess LSU should have no problems with Louisiana Monroe, even with Orgeron checked out.
You would think,
yeah.
But,
maybe. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it as always. We'll do this again next week.
All right, well, take care. We'll see you.
Thank you. That is Ron Higgins down in Baton Rouge, brought to you by Old Dominic, proud partners of the Tigers, located right in the heart of 305 South Front Street. So right there where you can go, and there's two different things that I love about it. I love their tour, and then I love going late night to try out the Dominic Spirit Portfolio. Yeah, this is where they make it. It's really cool. Master distiller Alex Castle, sometimes she's on hand. They got mixologists at the bar, which is elegant but not stuffy. You know what I mean? It's a great place. And if you like bourbons or any of those Old Dominick Portfolio drinks, you will love their bar. That'll do it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Johnny Radio's next.
Family Leisure has done it again, and just in time for the holidays.